when it comes to love songs, there's the full spectrum of like new love to love that lasts forever to heartbreak to cheating songs. You know what I mean? And the main consistent through line across everything that has to do with love is that the lyrics aren't so specific to any one given situation, any one specific love story. And the way to do that, well, let me backtrack a little bit. The tendency for most writers when they're writing a love song is to establish a situational context for this love story. Like, we met in a bar, you gave me that look from across the room, you know what I mean? Like those kinds of lyrics. Those kinds of lyrics tend to be counterproductive toward being highly placeable because they're very specific to like a specific story. And so as much as possible, when you're writing, especially love music, but really any music when it comes to sync, if your lyric writing tends to be very imagery based, try and put that imagery into what the emotions are, how you feel about it. What are the things you can describe that are not so physical and grounded in like a reality sense, more like what's the ethereal, like how can you say something without saying it, essentially. And that allows you to not only express the emotional gravity of what you're talking about in more detail, but it also allows you, it allows your song to be more applicable to a wider variety of contexts while still speaking to the same emotions.
Yeah, that's, I think some examples, and tying in what you said, Chase, as well, of not being dead on too specific is, as great as the Beatles tune, Michelle, My Belle, if your girlfriend or wife, if you state her name in the song and then the characters up on picture, it doesn't, that prevents us from pitching that tune out of the box. So like 100%. You said, just what's, doing lyrics that are not too specific, dead on the nose.
Yeah. It's one of those things that like you can have like such a great, such a well-established song between the vibe of the music and the vibe of the vocals and everything. And everything could be fitting so perfectly to whatever scene the supervisor is considering it for. But then when your lyric hits a particular person's name, all of a sudden the supervisor knows for a certain that they can't use that. And so I can imagine it's something that just bugs the heck out of many supervisors when they get songs that are like, oh, the vibe here is so right, but then they had to go and use someone's name, or they had to say, oh, we're in my Chevy pickup or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so the more you can avoid that, the more likely your chances are.
No, yeah. And to tie that in, preparing for this podcast today, looking at past briefs, one other brief that we often get is, the love song that's going to play at a wedding scene. So you have the bride and her father dancing. So a love between a father and a daughter. The lyrics aren't, it's specific to that. It's not between a couple. So the love that he has for his daughter. So, we get that brief that comes through often, and that's very specific. And the sound of the arrangement and the music, the instruments played with the lyrics. Do you want to talk, Chase, about making sure those things are matched up?
Definitely. And just to back up to that father-daughter type scene, it's not a very easy thing to do. It's definitely easier said than done. But when it comes to love songs, the more that you can make your love song less specific to a particular kind of relationship, again, the more applicable it's going to be. So you could have a song that's about your girlfriend, but if it's if it's not so specific about girlfriend type relationships and feelings that it could be about a father-daughter relationship, there's nothing that's holding it back from getting in that kind of placement. But
yeah, therein lies the challenge of, as a sync agent, finding that right song.
Absolutely.